Hello guys and welcome back to this tutorial. In the previous video, we went over how to make the ball move and hits the blocks like that. But we had the problem that it goes off the walls. So, in this video we're going to fix that. First of all, we need to create some walls. So, let's go to our sprites folder, take the pixel here, drag it in the scene, and let's scale it up. I've tried actually some values, and the ones that worked for me are 32 on the x-axis and 544 on the y-axis. We'll place it at 17 and minus 1.5. My camera borders are not actually set, so let's set them here and choose an aspect of Full HD. And you see we have a nice wall there. Now we will duplicate it, just select it, hit Ctrl D, and here in the position set it to minus 17. Next we're going to create the upper wall, so duplicate this again, drag and drop it here. It was not duplicated, let's do it again, Ctrl D, and minus 17 and minus 1.5. We will rotate it on the z-axis by 90 degrees. We'll put it at position 0 on the x and 7.5 on the y. The values here will be 32 on the x and 1120 on the y. Now select all three of them here, assign the layer wall, and we will give them a collider. So box collider 2D. Now let's create a material for them. So go to our materials folder, create shader graph, URP, and an unlit sprite shader. Let's call it wall and open it. First, we're going to need a Voronoi texture. It looks like this, it's some cells, and we need a tiling and offset to set its tiling and its offset. Link this here, and now we need some variables to control these values. So let's create a category and put them in it to keep things organized. So call this Voronoi, and we need to create a vector 2 for the tiling, another for the offset, two floats, one for the density and one for the angle. So let's give these default values. Tiling will be 1, 1. Offset will be 0, 0. Density will be at 5. And the angle will be at 2. Drag these and assign the values. Like that. And the angle. Next, we need to assign a color to these. But first, these lines are too thick for the wall, so let's make them thinner. To do that, we need to create two floats. So first, power and a multiplier. Let's take here this outlet and put it into a power node. So all these values here are values between 0 and 1. So the power will keep the white values, the stronger ones, and it will darken the weak white values. Let's drag this. Give it a default value of 1 for now. You see, if I increase this, the lines become thinner. Now, in order to make them brighter, let's bring these here and into a multiply node and multiply it by this multiplier we'll give it a default value of 1, drag it here, and now you can control the thickness and the brightness of these lines. Now let's add some color. So here in this category, add a color, and let's put it higher on the list here. Drag and drop it here, and into a multiply node, link this outlet here, and for this color we want it to be an HDR color, so it will have an intensity in order to determine how bright it is. Let's put it at something like that for now, and here is an example for the intensity. If you look here into the texture, you see that it becomes brighter and gives a light effect. Let's give it that value for now. Next, we want to create a background color. In order to do that, we need to take this texture from here and into a 1 minus node. Let's arrange this a bit, drag it here, drag this here. Now let's remap this in order to have more contrast. So values from 0 to 1, there we want them to start from, let's say, 0.3. Now we have more contrast here. Next we will add color to this. So now out of this category, add the color. Let's call it background. And as always, into a multiply node. This one won't be an HDR color. Let's give it a grayish value for now and add these two. Like that. Now, link it into the base color. Save this and assign create the material first. So create and material, let's call this wall. Assign it to the 3 walls here. You see the texture is being distorted. That's because we need to play a little bit with this styling value, but it will affect all of them and things won't be really good. It won't link well here. So in order to fix that, let's duplicate the material, name the walls first. So this one here is going to be our right wall. The upper one will be upper wall, and this one will be left wall. Now let's name the materials too. So one will be for the right wall, another for the left wall, and another for the upper wall. Let's assign them. This will be here, this one will be here, and this one will be here. For now you don't notice any changes, but now if I play with these values, it only affects one of them. Let's put this to black in all of them actually. And let's change some common values also. So for the density, let's decrease it so it looks like cracks. Something like that will be good. Now let's play with each one's styling values, starting with the left wall here and the right wall because they have same values. So a value of 0.6 will be fine. And for the offset, let's offset one of them a little so they won't have the same texture. Just a little bit. Now, for the upper wall, something like that on the X, and we will increase the Y value. Like that. Now, that's looking good. You can play with the values more, especially the offset values, to fix these links here. Just change the offset until you find something that covers it, something like that. Let's try the game now. We can't go over the walls. We'll fix the ball's position next. And here, because of the rigid body, it actually pushed the ball, so we need to drag it a little bit higher. Just don't let them touch for now. Something like that will be fine. It won't be very noticeable for the player. If I hit space, you see that the ball will not go past our walls. Let's animate the wall a little bit. So select the three walls here in the hierarchy. And let's hit Control 6 to open this animation window. Expand it a little and create. Go here to our assets folder, create a new folder. Let's call it animation. And here we will create a wall animation. So this animation will be pretty simple. We will select the material of one of them, hit this button here to start recording the values. And in the beginning, we don't want any changes, but let's say after a second, we want it to become less brighter. So something like 0.5 here, and in another second, it comes back to its original value. So 1 here. Hit this button again to stop recording, and play the animation to see. And you see it's slurping between these values. It's being a little bit quick, but we'll fix that. Let's do the same for the other two walls. So create another wall animation. Or we can simply assign the same animator to them. So here just select the wall, the first one that was animated, right click here, copy component, and paste it into these two. Paste component as new. Now go to our animation folder, double click the animation controller here that was created, click on this one here, and for the speed let's set it to something like 0.5. Go back to the scene view, let's run the game, and you see the walls are being animated. The cracks are being darker, then they become lighter. So guys, I think this is enough for this video. In the next video we're going to make our blocks break. So if you have any questions, keep them in the comments. We'll be glad to answer them. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like what you see, and see you next time.